Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the Burgers and Fries podcast, your Bob's Burgers companion podcast. With you again, Brian and Ryan, for another week, another episode. This is season 4, episode 11 now. We're cruising right along. We're at the midway mark.
Yeah, I think this is exactly the midway mark because this has 22 episodes. So this would be the end of the first half. And then we go on into the second half of the season. And I mean, this is it? This was one episode shorter than the previous season.
Yes,
the previous season was 23
I believe
episodes.
So. Yeah.
I think this is the longest, the longest season remaining. I think 22 episodes is like it's going to be the most we'll ever see in a season.
Sure.
Because I know season 5's got like 20, season 6 has like 19.
Right.
Season 7, season 8, technically season 8 is a weird one because it has that double episode.
Right.
But yeah, we're never going to see 22 episodes again. Well, we might see it once, but this will be the highest. So halfway mark 22 is 11. That's where we're at.
That's how math works.
Sometimes. Math is hard.
Math is hard. So
but yeah, we're
going to talk about Easy Com-Mercial, Easy Go-Mercial.
Yes, the podcast. The episode I thought was the one that premiered or played after the Super Bowl. It was actually the week before, but that's okay because it's still a Super Bowl themed episode. It's the first football episode. I think it's the only football episode that we get. Everything else is for sports has been baseball.
Yes.
And then we'll
and don't forget the competitive world of tablescaping.
Yeah, we did have tablescaping.
We did a whole episode on that. Yep.
Yeah, so this is a football episode that doesn't really have football in it, but it is, as Brian said, it's called Easy Com-Mercial, Easy Go-Mercial. Air date January 26th, 2014. Directed by Tyree Dillahay, written by friend of the podcast John Schrader.
That's right.
And I will give you the synopsis that we have here.
Please do.
To compete with fellow restaurateur Jimmy Pesto and his blowout Super Bowl event, Bob is determined to create a Bob's Burgers commercial to air during the big game.
Quote unquote.
In effort to outshine Pesto, the Belchers recruit Randy to assist with the filmmaking and hire on former pro football star Connie Frye to be the celebrity endorser. So is this the third episode now with Randy in it? Because first was the Sacred Cow. And then we had food trucking.
Yep.
I think that's it. I think this is the next Randy episode. So that's always fun. And then Connie Frye.
Yeah, anytime that Paul F. Tompkins comes on and does stuff, it's always good. He's not always Randy, but he has such a fun voice and just has fun with the characters. So I'm always glad that he's on.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele's back as a different character this time.
Wait a second. I just read that as Connie Frye. His name's Sandy Frye.
Yeah.
Why does the synopsis say Connie Frye? It's Sandy Frye.
It is Sandy.
Yeah, but that's Jordan Peele doing Sandy Frye.
Yes. Man. Yeah, I know.
Some of these synopses, man.
They are bad. We'll have to read it. Yeah.
Usually the Plex synopsis has been pretty good.
Well, because his name is Sandy Can Fry.
Yeah, but not Connie.
No, maybe somebody just got messed up.
He was just famous for doing the can.
Yeah, maybe
for a celebration, a sack celebration.
Maybe. Yeah. So, anyway, Craig Anton is doing voice, and David Herman's back again this episode. Jay Johnson, of course, doing Jimmy Pesto.
Yeah, do you remember?
And then the cast of usuals after that.
Yeah, do you know because I see that Craig Anton doesn't even have a entry. An entry? Do you know what he was? What his voice was?
His voice is Mr. Dowling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is who
we'll get to that.
I don't
remember who that character is.
Yeah, right. It seems like we'll figure it out when we get into the episode. But now, do we have to names or say any good things?
Yeah, we had.
Before we get into the episode.
All right, so we want to thank the new patron that just joined us, Joel. Thank you so much for joining us. You get a shout out on this podcast.
You're the man, Joel.
You get all the access to our fun goodies in the backlog, and if you need anything, like I said, just message us. We're here. We're here to talk.
We'll see what we can do.
Exactly. So we're gonna pause now.
Yep.
We're gonna go ahead and watch Easy Com-Mercial, Easy Go-Mercial.
That's right.
And we will be back after we're done watching to discuss it.
Okay, financing is in place. Now we just need a $3,000 idea for the family commercial. So, let's do it. What do we got?
Bobby, I know a guy who used to be in the NFL. I bet you could get him.
Really? That could be great.
I don't know. Celebrity endorsement. Sounds a little hoity-toity.
Yeah, that might be a little slick for us. It's something Pesto would do. We'll keep it simple. Just the food and the family.
How about a slogan? Where's the burger? Between Bob's buns.
Well, not that.
How about this? Bob's Burgers, like a beef in the night.
No.
You can be the joint beefs of staff.
I don't think so.
How about I beef, you beef, we'll all beef at Bob's Burgers.
Not great, Teddy.
Something like that.
Oh, come meet our family and let us meet you. Get it? Meet? Ha!
Hey, Louise, that's pretty good.
I'm the smart one!
All right. So we got those out of the way finally, because
Yes.
usually we're scrambling at the end of the podcast to talk about those.
But we're good now. We gave them their just due.
We did. All right. Tell me what you liked about this episode.
I liked I liked the piecing together of the commercial. I liked that they were trying to do a commercial. I thought it was fun. I liked seeing, the different ideas in the family and the little jump cuts from, idea to idea, with Tina and her hair flipping, which was hilarious, and Gene with the giant burger costume where he pees mustard on the city, and then Teddy not being able, to catch a burger. I like all the outtakes.
Sure. Or how the commercial should have been.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right. I like all of those. I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked that we got Jordan Peele to come do a football character, Sandy Can Frye. I liked the joke at the end, where Sandy was in another commercial for trans noodles.
Yes.
And he's like, because noodles go good with fry. And I love, that he did 3 commercials on that day and just, didn't really care, whose, toes he stepped on, so to speak. I liked all of that, which was pretty much the whole episode. The episode was filled with a lot of little jokes, here and there spread throughout, because of kind of what was happening in the episode. It was very straightforward. There was just one story. There really wasn't a secondary or anything like that until the very end, where it kind of split into maybe an A-B story.
Which one?
Well, with Gene's Super Bowl,
See,
though it flowed, no pun intended, it flowed so well with the first story anyway.
Yeah,
there really is no differentiation between that and the main story.
It's funny that you say that, because on one of the websites that kind of just gives a synopsis of the show, it says that that's the subplot, but it really isn't a subplot per se. It is just kind of, this is happening at the same time as everything else. Because they only mentioned the Super Bowl, twice or 3 times at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then kind of...
Well, then once in the beginning, or in the middle of the episode, and then once at the very end, I think. So it was kind of peppered in there, very lightly.
Sure, but it's still not a critical part of the episode. Not like a whole separate subplot. You could not just separate that story from everything else.
Oh no, heavens no!
It's because really it's I'm gonna have a ball movement.
I'm gonna have a
during
giant
halftime.
at halftime of the
And then
Super Bowl.
is it halftime yet? And then it's I can't hold it. I'm gonna do it at Jimmy Pesto's.
Right.
That's really the story. And I know most that maybe that's like a subplot, because it's not its own B story. It is just kind of a minor thing that happens during the episode. But that's kind of the same. You could say the same thing about. You could say the same thing about the commercial being a subplot to the overall I'm having a party. I mean, I'm just saying if you want to really nitpick and break it down.
Yeah, but we're not gonna.
No. Yeah. So I mean, the whole Super Bowl thing was kind of funny.
Right.
Just holding them in. Yeah, I do like when he said, "How long until halftime?" I think my contractions are 9 minutes apart.
Yeah.
He was definitely bloated. You could.
Yeah.
That was good. It was good art and good
Yes.
good attention to detail, because he was bloated. He was ready to
Ready
get
to
rid
burst.
of that. Yeah. I enjoyed when they were trying to think of slogans for the commercial, for the original commercial. They went, I guess, each of the family, and I forgot one of them. I don't have it written down, but I do have the rest of them. They were thinking of, like the catchphrase to bring people into the restaurant. So we had Linda's, which of course was another fart reference, kind of like the ham in the oven.
Beef in the night.
Beef in the night. Tina's was the joint beefs of staff.
Right.
And then we had Teddy, who said, Teddy's was just funny because he, of course, it has nothing to do with anything. He goes, I beef, you beef, we all beef at Bob's Burgers, which again is kind of a nice little fart joke.
Right. Which is just horrible. Those are not good takes.
He's like, that's not a good one.
No.
And then the one that they ended up coming up that they really liked was Louisa's.
Yes.
And she says, "Come meet our family and let us meet you." And that is a total Bob approved slogan,
right?
Because it has the pun in there.
Mm-hmm.
It has, you're using the word meet and meet M-E-E-T and meet M-E-A-T,
mm-hmm.
which is perfect. And so Louise thought, it was good. Louise thought of a really good slogan. I thought those were all pretty funny.
Yes.
That they were sitting there kind of coming.
Right. They're all funny, and then Luis has like the one serious one, and it was like, okay, yeah, we're doing that. That's what we're doing. Right. It was really well done. I like when Jimmy Pesto comes in the beginning of the episode and makes fun of Bob's tiny TV for the Super Bowl, and Gene goes, "It's a wonderful TV. It has great horizontal hold," which is a very old timey way that you can configure your television if you're trying to get the strongest signal. So that's
you had
really
to
funny.
adjust. You had to adjust the
vertical and the horizontal.
Yep.
Yeah. Of how the signal was being displayed on your monitor, which is really fun.
At the end of that, when they were giving the high fives, Trevor grabbed his hand like to hold it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was kind of funny.
Don't grab my hand.
Hand.
That was really good.
What else do we have for humor in this episode? I mean,
the sarcastic banker was really amazing. I love every time that we get to see Bob in a suit, right? So he has to dress up to go to the bank. Like that's a very old fashioned way of thinking.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I go to the bank. I'm asking for money. We better dress up.
Mm-hmm.
Right, kind of thing. Now they just like look at your credit and determine how much of a loan they can give you. Right, it doesn't matter if you're going to be dressed up nice in a suit or anything like that. Right, but that's a very old-fashioned way of thinking. Right, so he has to go in, and they need $3,000 for the Super Bowl commercial, which is just about everything that they have in their life savings. And so he's making fun of him, more or less, saying like, look at this. This is really nice. You have planned payments and that come in and they form a nice little nest egg here where this is you here with just random payments coming in with no planning. He's like, yes I understand that, but I need all my money. He's like, oh, that's a great idea, just pulling out all your money like that for with no backup plan or anything like that. And Bob goes, yeah, we'll see who's laughing when I come back tomorrow with twice as much money. And then the baker's like, ooh, I'll enlarge the vault, right? $6,000. Wow.
Yeah, they always have. When was the last time we had the banker interaction? Was it the Bob Day afternoon?
It may have been, yeah.
Where he's in and you're the low side, Bob. It's the joke here.
Right. Yeah, it may have been.
Yeah, the banker's not very nice to him, but it does make for some good comedy.
Yes, which is very true, and that's all we want. We want the good comedy, and then it was really funny before Randy came in to film the commercial.
Yes. I was gonna mention that. Go ahead.
Where they were all making fun of him, like, okay, they're kind of talking to themselves because, like, oh, we just have to deal with Randy. He's such a pain in the neck, but like, we don't know anybody else, and he's on the cheap, right? We can afford him, and so they all, start just get their mumblings and grumblings out before Randy gets within earshot, right before he gets into the building. Oh, there's Randy. Let's get it all out now. He's such a pain in the neck. He smells funny, and then everybody kind of goes through their little not niceties, about Randy. And then Tina goes, he's average height. And then Bob's like, Tina, that's not really an insult. And he comes in, hello, Belcher family. And then Tina goes, you're stupid.
What?
Which was really funny.
And then he's like, what?
Which Tina finally got it.
Yeah.
But that was a little late on that one, Tina.
Yeah. But that's what makes it funny for Tina.
Yes.
She had no idea.
No.
What the correct timing would have been for that.
No, it was really funny.
All right, here he is. Get it out now. Randy's a pain in the butt.
He has bad breath.
He pees sitting down, facing the toilet.
He smells like a hamster cage.
He's average height.
Tina, that's not really an insult. Okay, here he is. Hey, buddy.
Hello, Belchers.
Randy, hey, oh.
You're stupid.
What?
Nothing. Hey, what did you think about the script?
What did I think about the script? Oh, quick question. Did a kid write it?
Actually, yes.
This kid, me. And just to explain who's in charge, this is a point and shoot operation. I point and you shoot.
Well, we will see about that.
No, I'm the puppet master and you're the guy who gets the puppet master a glass of water.
Puppets can't get water for people.
That's not true. There's a lot of movies where
Okay,
puppets get water for
stop.
people.
Easy.
I am a filmmaker. Name one movie where puppets
too.
get water for people.
Pretty Woman.
I will have to rent
on.
that and see.
Randy, look at this. Pretty good, huh?
I have the whole during the commercial, so I want to talk about the actual commercial that they showed on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy says that they're gonna get flagged 15 yards for unnecessary deliciousness.
Yes.
And I don't know what that is, but it was kind of funny. But at the same time, it made me think, and I'm like, does that mean that it shouldn't have been that delicious, and so I'm getting flagged for it?
Is it too delicious?
It's
Is that you can't handle the deliciousness?
his burger is so delicious that they have to.
They have to throw a penalty. It's too good, which doesn't make any sense. But in this NFL, maybe it does make sense. I don't know.
In this NFL, the no fun
They
league,
flag everything.
the no food league.
Yeah, the no food league. You're not allowed food on the football field. So I like that. I liked when they meet Sandy originally, and he's talking about he's like, which accent would you like me to do?
I can do
And so it's going
Australian.
through, I can do Australian. I can do, that's a spicy. It's like, can you? And then and Bob's like, and then she's like, can you do a Russian accent? And he's like, look at me, I am a Russian. No, I cannot.
Yeah, it's a cold.
It's a cold.
It was like
I
a really
cannot.
bad Mario
Really bad.
ass
yeah.
slashing. No, I cannot do it.
Like, no, I cannot. And so I was like, well, we just need you to do no accent. Oh, playing myself. Sounds good. Right, so then they got this super, well, not Super Bowl, but just a football player. I don't know his stats in this universe.
Can-Can?
Sandy Can-Can Frye.
Yeah, what I don't.
The only thing we know about him, his claim to fame, is he's somebody on the defensive end, and every time he would get a sack, he would do the can-can dance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we know. So we don't know if he was a Pro Bowler or a Hall of Famer or a Super Bowl champion of any kind. He was a pro football player. That's all we know.
He could be somebody who's just known because of the of his dance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like he was just known for doing the can after every sack.
Sure.
Now in this again in the current NFL league, he'd probably be penalized every time he did that.
Sure, he could be. But now in this world, in this football universe of Bob's Burgers, that was something that was totally acceptable to do.
Yep.
So
maybe he only got a couple sacks, but it was just so popular.
Well, he got more than a couple.
Well, when he introduces himself, he says, "Did somebody order an NFL legend in here? Because next door they did not."
Yes, and they asked me to leave. Okay.
I mean, so he's at least an NFL legend.
That's true.
He called himself that. I mean, maybe I don't think he doesn't see the self-absorbed type.
Right.
So.
Right, that's true. So we have a nice little setup here, right? So in the beginning, they want to try and outdo Pesto, with trying to get a bigger crowd for the Super Bowl, and then they come up with this idea for the commercial. They have Bob has a little back and forth with the banker. They get Randy to come and help. They then try and film this commercial, and it doesn't really go as well as planned because Randy's kind of a hack. And it's great that Luis got him to say that. He's like, hey, and and Randy comes in and just uses all the wrong parts, for the finished product. And Bob's just not happy. He's like, this is not, what I wanted. This is, maybe the original commercial, would have been nice.
Yeah.
But Randy pieced together all the outtakes, all of the bad takes that should not have been in the finished product. And so, Bob's like, no, we got to do this again. Like, we can't put this out there. He's really worried. And so he decides to pull out all the stops, and he decides to go after, Teddy mentioned that he had a friend who was actually a football player. He's like, Teddy, what's the name of your football friend? Sandy Frye. Okay, call him up. You think he'd do it for less than $500? And he's like, well, he's trying to break into acting, so he'll probably do it for free.
Yeah.
Just for the exposure, which is really great. I was like, even better, let's do this. And, not Tina, Louise gets a little upset because she wants her commercial idea to be the one that they go with, which in the end was the one that worked. Would have been the one that worked best. We got to see the finished product at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, but that's not even those weren't even the outtakes though. The one that's at the commercial is actually like.
Well, I think what we saw is what was supposed to happen.
Okay.
Without the outtakes.
Okay.
Of the original commercial. Sure. Sans Sandy Frye.
Meet our family.
So that's my guess.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have Sandy Frye come in, and that's kind of where everything
changes.
Yes, thank you. It takes a turn, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, Bob is enamored and infatuated with the fact that this NFL player is going to be in his commercial, and he wants to pretty much do anything he can to solidify, I guess, it being a good commercial. And he sacrifices his family for that aspect. It turns out that it's probably not the best way to go about it, but he did. And now here we are. The commercial show's on TV. It's not the one that they decided about. The family's barely in it. We do get a really fun moment where he goes open Monday through Friday.
Yeah, Frye.
And then also Saturday and Sunday. And then they kind of get into the family doesn't, they're not happy with him. And so they get into a can standoff, which I thought was pretty funny.
Oh, this is what you want, Dad? This is what you want? And this is all we can do from now on. And they just all kind of huddle together and they actually start doing the can. And then we, see Bob just get so upset with everything, because Jimmy Pesto has a bigger crowd, that he goes over there and finds that Sandy's actually... Oh, because, he sees that... The commercial. He saw the commercial with Sandy in it to begin with, for Jimmy Pesto's, and that was the big thing. And so he goes over there to face off with Jimmy Pesto once and for all.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
I don't believe it. Pesto stole our commercial. We're sunk. He beat us again.
Who's us? The family you turned your back on?
Yeah, now you know how we feel, Bob. The betrayer is betrayed.
Karma's a bitch, and then you die.
I'm so upset I don't even have to go to the bathroom anymore. Either that or maybe I'm going right now. Oh, I really do still have to go quite a bit.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna go settle up with Pesto. God, I can't get this apron off.
Stop, you're like a mental patient in a straitjacket.
Tina, untie the back.
Karma's a bitch.
Oh my God. Forget it. I'll wear it over there.
And so when he's over there, he unplugs. He kind of goes crazy. He's like, you know, you stole my idea. And he sees that, you know, Randy's over there, the banker's over there, and like, everybody's kind of betrayed him. He feels like everybody's betrayed him. And but you know, then he talks to Sandy, and he gets the story from Sandy, which I thought was pretty funny. He's like, you know, once I got done with your place, I went across the street to find some fun appetizers and some pizza.
Yep.
And he mentioned
2 things you do not offer.
He's like, you know, I mentioned that I did a commercial with you, and that's where he got the idea. If I broke a contract, it was an honest mistake. That was it. And so Bob kind of goes crazy, jumps over the bar, knows exactly where Jimmy Pesto's AV system is, and just starts unplugging everything.
Unplugging the satellites, right? And then they lose
signal.
their signal, and it takes them forever to get back up because they're satellites. And Bob, you know, just kind of has this, you know, moment, this epiphany where he realizes that none of this would have happened if he just would have went with the regular commercial with his family. And, you know, his family isn't like him very much right now. Nobody at Jimmy Pesto's likes him because he took away their football. And, you know, he's mad at Sandy for, you know, kind of basically double crossing him.
Yeah.
And so the family hears all this. They're so happy. And, you know, that's all they wanted to hear. And they're ready to they're just ready to go home. Forgive and forget, and let's go home. And Gene, realizes he can't make it. Right, to his Super Bowl. So he has to run to the restroom in Jimmy Pesto's. Hey, bathrooms work for customers only. And Linda goes, I'll have a pesto colada.
I think that's the 3rd or 4th time she's had a pesto colada.
Yeah.
But he must make a pretty good
pina colada.
Yeah. Or she just doesn't have them very often, only has them when they're out. And it seems like every time we see them out, they're at Pesto's for some reason.
Can't eat burgers every day.
Well, no, but like they had the blind dates in the episode where Weekend at Mort's. Mort had his blind date, and they all went out to Jimmy Pesto's, the 4 of them, for whatever reason. It's just, it seems like they're always there for like going out, other than the other place that I don't know if we've talked about in an episode yet. The place with the soup salad. Well, yeah, because they brought home the doggy bag.
Yeah. That was date night. Yeah, that was the other place where they go.
And apparently, she only gets them there.
That's right. And so, Gene goes and says a little goodbye to his BM. And you look like a fighter. I hope you go down. And then, kind of flushes the toilet. And the water just keeps rising. And he comes out. I kept flushing. And we have to go. And then they all just run out. And then that's when the water comes bursting through. Which, wow, that must have been a lot of water to come through the door like that.
He kept flushing it.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm. And so they all leave, and everybody leaves Jimmy Pesto's, and Bob's like, haha, they'll all have to come over here now. Only, 3 people. But hey, he got 3 people over there.
He got
which
3
is more than he had before. Absolutely.
I like when the family was all coming out to basically come after to help Bob. Because he, gives that speech, and everybody's all happy about it. And they're like, and she, they're like, oh, we heard every word. We forgive you. Mm-hmm. I like when they were leaving, Linda says, well, we're going to wait for him to get hit with one more meatball, and then they go. Mm-hmm. And Teddy goes, I'll come. I don't want to leave my seat. I got a good spot. Because he's just
yeah. He's like, I go help, but it is a really good seat. I like this seat. So I thought that was really funny. That's kind of the episode. It's really straightforward, right? Mm-hmm. We did kind of gloss over the main story in a way, but we mentioned a lot of the funny stuff. I still have a couple things that I do want to go over because they are so memorable in this episode. What about you? Do you have anything that you kind of want to go over? I
don't have anything that
tough.
Kevin already mentioned.
It's not a normal summary for this episode.
No,
just because it's just very straightforward, and there's not too many scenes that last a long time. Like we covered over the longest scene, which was when Bob goes over to confront Jimmy.
Actually, I would disagree. I would say that if that episode just feels like one long scene that doesn't have any breaks because it takes place completely in the restaurant.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
there's
in that way, but there's all these cuts to different scenes.
But it's always in the restaurant. There's other than the very end when they're over at Jimmy Pesto's, the whole rest of the episode takes place in the restaurant.
Right.
So to me, it felt like it was just one long scene. So kind of just recapping the one scene do it for me.
Right.
So I think that's why for me it was just kind of
feels like
it was
that.
just one
Yeah.
one long take with a couple cuts in the restaurant because you didn't even really, other than the one passage of night, it just kind of felt like it was the same day.
Sure.
You only had the one night when they were when Bob and Randy were kind of up late editing the episode,
Right.
The commercial.
Okay. All right. I'll to each his own. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have anything else. We went through everything that I got on my list here.
Okay. I do want to go over when Randy comes in, he has a little power struggle with Louise, and I think that's hilarious because she goes in, and is like, no, I'm the director and you're the puppet, and I'm the puppet master, and you're here to, I say action and you're here to bring me my water, and he's like, puppets don't bring people water. He's like, yeah, puppets bring people water in the movies all the time. Name one movie where a puppet brings someone water, and she goes, Pretty Woman. He's like, well, I'll have to rent that and see.
Yeah, I did like that.
A, that's not a movie that has that in there, Louise. B, Randy, wow, you need to watch Pretty Woman, holy crap. And C, wow, like way to take a kid's word for it, Randy. Like you clearly, whatever. I thought that was pretty funny.
I think it's more funny that she thought of Pretty Woman.
Yeah, right. I'm thinking Muppets Take Manhattan or something.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
I'll get back to you. We'll have to watch that and see. So I did like that a lot, and I did like when Louise was really upset that Bob wanted to bring in Sandy Can Frye. And he's like, oh, no, where Louise just wanted to do it with the family. Like, no, Dad, this was supposed to be us and the family. He's like, no, I'm just bringing in a new member of the family with name recognition and who's more pleasant, right? Which is what he wanted to do. And I thought that was a little funny. And then one of the final things at the end when they're all giving Bob a hard time about bringing in Sandy. He's like, oh, well, this is what you want. You Sandy Can Frye, probably going to get married. Be, Bob Can. He's like, well, I wouldn't take his name. I'm not going to get married. Yeah. Right? I'm not going to take his name.
I think it's funny that that got to that because that's not even his last name.
Right.
Bob
right.
Can.
Right, exactly. That's not even his last name either. So lots of funny little lines in this episode. It'll be interesting to see where it ranks on the ratings. So we're going to pause the podcast one more time here for us.
Yep.
We'll give you a fun little clip of the show, and we'll be back on the other side with our ratings and numbers for this episode.
Did someone here order an NFL legend? Because next door, they did not. And they yelled at me to leave. Hi, I'm Sandy.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity to act in your commercial. I've been working on my accents. Which would you prefer? Good day, mate. Or, that's a spicy.
Can you do a Russian accent?
Can I? Hey, I'm a Russian. It's a so cold, No, I cannot. I'm sorry.
I think just your regular voice will be great, Sandy.
I'm playing myself.
Yes.
You got it, Bob. I'm here to carry out your vision, even if you don't want me to do an accent.
Now that's a great attitude.
Great attitude, terrible concept for a commercial, hack director. Let's do this!
Yeah, let's do this.
I was being sarcastic, Sandy.
And I was ignoring it, little tiny person.
All right, I got those numbers crunched. You got your 2 minutes on the...
Oh, I got the 2 minutes on the clock.
You sure?
Are you ready for it?
I just asked.
Okay.
Of course I'm ready.
Ready? Go.
I am ready. All
Go.
right. Episode fun bits. The fire extinguisher, one mice 3 times an exterminator, and then the 4 burgers. I gave it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I was really happy with the burgers. I would eat a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the fire extinguishers, we had a very long discussion about that.
Yes.
So we kind of can't give it anything less than an 8.
That's why I gave it an 8 as
that.
well. I just love the fire distinguishers, and they had some pretty solid burgers and some really good football puns, so I gave them an 8.
Sure. Story, I gave a 7. It was a pretty good, decent story. Like I said, it kind of felt like one long scene for me, which prevents me from giving it higher than a 7. But it was still a pretty good story. There was no need for a B story again, just because it was all about the family. The family was all together in one story.
Sure.
So that gets a 7 for me.
I gave it a 6 actually, which is a very rare time that I am lower on the story than you, and that's okay. To me, it just felt like a lot of cuts, and it was just a very straightforward story, which isn't a bad thing. It's definitely above an average story, but I gave it a 6. I wasn't super wowed by the story.
Humor, I also gave a 7. I laughed a good chunk. It is still a far cry from some of the really hilarious episodes that we've had, but 7 is still very good. There was more humor for me this time around than last episode, so it's definitely a 7.
Right. I gave it humor an 8. I didn't laugh out loud a ton, but I chuckled quite a bit with a lot of the tiny little things that are going on in this episode. I love the power struggle with Louise and Randy, and I love, a beef in the night. I think it's really funny as well. So just a lot of good humor all around.
And then I gave an 8. We had the fun song, the Come Meet Our Family song.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love when they have a lot of guest voices, and Jordan Peele coming back to do another voice was really good, and him doing the really bad accents just really kind of sold it for me that he was not that good at what he was going to do. So yeah, an 8 for me on the others.
Right. Give the others 7. Really like Jordan Peele coming back. Wonderful guest voices. Paul F. Tompkins. Fun little song that we got to do. And that's it.
All right.
Or a fun little song that they did.
Sure.
We didn't get to do the song.
Sure.
They didn't invite us on to do the song.
No, I wish.
Yeah.
So 7.3 for myself, 7.1 for you.
Okay.
7.2 overall.
Yeah. Pretty good episode.
So yeah, it's right around that mark of where our average episodes are. So it's still a pretty good episode.
Yeah.
That puts it at I think number 7 for the 8.
Mm-hmm.
Puts it at 8 for the season.
Okay.
So not bad at all.
No.
But yeah, I mean it was the episode that they aired before the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, it wasn't during the Super Bowl.
It can't be during the Super Bowl. It could be after the Super Bowl.
I said before.
But you said, unfortunately, it couldn't be during the Super Bowl.
I meant like during the day of the Super Bowl is what I meant. I apologize. I meant during the day of the Super Bowl.
Understood.
But I don't know if this is an episode. Here's a good question. I don't know if it's an episode I would want to show as a premiere into the show for people to understand. When you're going to give an episode and we're going to premiere it after the Super Bowl, when you've got such a large lead-in audience, you kind of want an episode that really kind of instills the values of what Bob's Burgers is. Mm-hmm. And this episode is not it, and that's not a bad thing.
Right.
But this episode is not your standard Bob's Burgers episode that we've come to like.
Right.
Not your average episode does not just take place in the restaurant. So you're going to see this episode after the Super Bowl. You're going to think, it's a workplace sitcom animated show that's just in a restaurant, but there's a lot more that goes on in the show, as we know. There's the school, there's there's all the other world building that we've done throughout the 4 seasons. So this episode would probably not be one that I would want to show. So maybe it's good that it wasn't during the day of the Super Bowl, and that it was the week before.
Sure.
And then next week's episode, the Frye Files, is another weird episode, and the fact that it's not your standard Bob's Burgers episode. Uh-huh. It takes place in 3 separate short stories because the kids are all writing stories for Why I Love Wagstaff, and so one of them's a parody of Terminator, one of them's a parody of like a 60s music hall, and the other is just a horror story. So yeah, that's also not a standard episode, but yeah, it's a good episode, as we said. But it's I don't in retrospect I wouldn't want it to be the one that is shown after the Super Bowl with such a large lead-in audience. I would want a different episode to be showing.
Yeah, sometimes you can't help that, or maybe you can. I don't know how TV works. So
well, I mean it's up to both the show and the station which one's going to be played at what time.
Sure.
So I would pick, I'm not going to look at all the season 4 episodes, but there are definitely other episodes this season that I would pick to show before the Super Bowl. Like I would do Bob and Deliver even. That'd be a fun one to show after. One. That's a good one to kind of show. Again, it's a parody, but it's still kind of a fun episode that gives you the idea of what Bob Burgers is about.
Yeah. I kind of agree. I still enjoy the episode though. Anytime that you got Bob going at it with Jimmy Pesto is always fun. So that's going to do for us for this episode. Stay tuned for next couple of weeks. We have some really interesting podcasts coming out. We have an interview with director Mario Diana. We're really excited about that. We really had a very fun interview with him. I think it's going to be like a 6-hour long interview. My God, we talked to him forever.
Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting what we can
get it down below 90.
Okay.
So I think we'll be okay.
It's a really interesting. We talked to him a lot. He was an artist for a lot of our childhood, a lot of the cartoons, and now he's working and directing on Bob's, which is great. So we talked to him a lot about that. And then we have another special little bonus episode that we're going to throw in somewhere in there to just kind of talk more about Bob's Burgers and pop culture in general and how it's kind of just exploded.
Yeah, we've done a lot in the past because we're obviously starting from the beginning, but I've noticed some stuff recently, and I just kind of want to discuss it with you and see what your thoughts are.
Yeah. This will be a surprise to me because I'm not doing any research for this.
But,
so we'll see what happens.
The whole point was not to do research.
Yeah.
It's it'll be better that way. But yeah, I think we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's it for this episode.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it for this episode. We will be back next week with
the interview.
The interview's next week for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, then the interview will be back next week, and please tune in for that. Where can they all find us on the internet somewhere?
Google.
Google.
Good
Good
you can just
job,
go to
man.
Google and type in Burgers and Fries Podcast and you're going to find us. But iTunes, Google's Tuned In, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you get your fine podcast, you can find us.
We have a Patreon, patreon.com/burgers and fries.
Again, thank you, Joel, for signing up for us. We're getting closer to that goal of some new equipment and some tattoos. Hopefully we get there one of these days.
Yeah, that would be really interesting and scary to have to get a tattoo. But
Oh,
we'll see how it goes. And then...
Twitter, we're at Burgers Fries Pod.
Twitter's Burgers Fries Pod. That was the other one. Thank you. And then Instagram as well. So Burgers Fries Pod. So thanks again, everybody, for listening. We are the Burgers and Fries Podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Ryan. Don't you tell me no lies.
I want some burgers and